Good morning, folks. It's 9:44 a.m. on the 22nd day, 12th month of 2022. Another day of the doses. These are extremely high totals. That's over 16 inches of water slated for some parts of the Northern Territory. And I'm not going to waste no time getting into this. So let me move the mic. Yes, that's 16.21 there. And a lot of models are showing this. There's over a foot there. All this seems to be running toward the Daly River. This is going to have a big problem. This town of Bola, you're in the guns. Timber Creek, you're in the guns. You're right in the sights. Absolutely in the sights, because what's raining here is coming your way. And then it's coming on top of it, 18 inches. Okay? I will underestimating you. Okay, I don't want to be winding people up. That's why I say 16 inches plus. And all this is going to rage towards this delta here. Oh my God. Everything in the path when this is overflowing. And all this rain out here is going to be trying to come inland at high tide. There's going to be a water backup. And I'm not sure what this is. Right, there's something here under the water. Or is that a county line? There's an old road. I was hoping not to see a dam or anything here, but you're going to have problems. Big problems as this water is going to burst up through here. Might even be coming through this valley into that way. All this rain's coming down the mountains that way. Here, I'll put it in something you're familiar with. Doink. I nearly said it was a shame they don't have a centimeter graph. But my God, the fact they would need one is shame enough. This is, like I said the other day, this is going to be really bad. That over the 10 you was going to see a meter. Well, here comes a half of that over in 3 days. Or over half. All in one shot. The big band's coming in through this area here. Most maps are agreeing. I'm pulling up the maps I agree with and show you what I'm agreeing with and what I'm not. And I'm not agreeing with that at all. I think the bands are coming in 3 shots. That's what I could see on the set view. I told you I'm watching this very closely. I ain't got nothing to do Christmas, so I will give my time to my family, all you, and my John Sal. Hey, Catherine, now you're gonna have problems on the 10th. Right, this is more accurate. You're right on the edge line. So that's telling me they're putting a heated flow in here to pin this storm and stall it from coming in too quick for maximum damage. Maximum damage. So your event's like, no. It's imminent. You have very little time to get out of the way. Some of the moisture swats they're planning to bring in and bring on to the Daly River. It's a terrible thing to see. Terrible thing to see. So, right here by that nose and cone head chin thing, everything's Imagineering. It's mighty circular looking, so it's telling me to bring it a rotation in. It's going to rotate when it comes in, but very slow. Pressure wise on that day. I won't give you all the plans. Coming in on Christmas. She'll be there on Christmas. See, I went right to it. I ain't playing games. It's going to park there. And ain't going nowhere anytime soon. Very heavy totals over this area. Yeah, see? That's an inundation. As a EMF pulse it back and forth. So I will be watching this very closely and what kind of chem is used and deployed to cause such a ferocious amount of water to come down. Now, I'm going to ask some admins of a couple of the flood groups that are keeping track without being all conspiracy. They just watch these things and post it if I have permission to show some of this stuff that I'm seeing, because I don't want to offend them. Because these people are losing their homes. So when I show stuff, I have to do it with all due respect. Because really, I wouldn't be too happy if anybody's doing videos making money off this. Like certain weather services, a shame on them. They should be warning all these people that they got a foot and a half of water coming. That's what 16 inches is, a foot and a quarter. That's a lot. And some were showing a foot and a half. That's the great flood like Noah. Except they was taller back then, right? A giant's a flood to drown a giant would be very much. There we got just at every 3 hours, the main parts of these storms just absolutely dumping that much rain. Believe me, I have to put on my armor of tensor tools today that was given by God. I guess you could call anything you want. The armor I wear is tensor tools, and I have them all on today just to get the strength to do the storm, to go through this with you. I'm not going to tirade. I'm really working on it hard. So watch my progress. It sort of shows you could expect me to kick. But if I can use different adjectives. My God. And we're all the way through the week. It's next step. Okay? This is 10 days. A ribbon coming through the same area. That's flood abatement. Flood abatement. Shock the banks. Release the banks. These levees cannot take it. And we've had another one go yesterday. And it was a big section. I told you, that's what took out New Orleans during Katrina. It wasn't the storm. It was the going of the levees. And they was actually blown by the Army Corps of Engineers, and it flooded out of African-American community. Yep. Lifted gun. And scattered it across the United States in cities like Detroit, Chicago, and Houston, where they then got it again and got scattered. Just broke up the communities. It's so sad. And as we get here on New Year's Eve, which is now New Year's Day, your time is this year. Okay? This is New Year's Day, your time. All right? They're saying another low is coming in, and it's coming in over here. So somebody was asking me about Port Hedland. Port Hedland is right here, and it owns much of the weather. And Broome must have been upgraded, because it's also doing things I hadn't used to seeing it before. And every model has you a bit rough that day coming into shore on your New Year's Eve. Your Happy New Year should be right here about this time. Oh, because you're here. You'll be a little bit here. Right about that. According to this, you've got a cyclone parked right over here between Broome and these towns here. According to this. I ain't buying it. Because all the accumulations are here. This is nonsensical. This is just a gear. It has to be slow moving. Because if it moves too fast, it'll scatter that. The bubble up will pull. Right now, you've got a bubble up here. Bloop, 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 bloop. There's nothing to the south. So the only things that could come in during this bubble up are stuff that's here and stuff that's up here. And it'll suction whatever's tropics. Blonk, blonk, blonk. It'll have a tendency with this big one to blonk, 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 which means another long, sustained raining event. Will be the remains of your storm you've been watching now. What's his name? I forget. Damien or whatever, something like that. And you get this tendril sitting out here. For all intents and purposes, that should ride behind this away in this direction here toward Madagascar pipeline, where it could then be maneuvered up and back around. All the water that's going to impact Australia over the next 15 days has to come from this quadrant here, or this tendril here, as they work it down and under. And believe me, there's some moisture in this, and there's some cold. As I look at the temperature differences that are over down here in Antarctica, it's quite some difference. And with the heat coming this way here, would you say you're fucked? Would you say that looks like a little guy laughing with an eyeball? Hidey ho! Burp. I burped out some hot air. Alice is going to be burning it up. You got cooler here and hotter here. What's that telling you? Right? This is where the hotter equator is. This is where the cooler air is. That's telling you the microwaves are going to be heating stuff. You will have atmospheric heaters on. Big blasters. So we'll be looking for the Happy New Year or that, and of course the chem bomb in the sky. Okay, now you're probably wondering what's going on today. Yeah, typical. A high over Alice and a low and low. You ain't going nowhere. You are going to have a saggy season. 2023 will begin with thunder bangs and boom boom blooms. And look at the double high down here. They're setting it up again. If this race is under that, it meets it, or they part that, just turn this a bit, heat that there, you got the same setup going on all the way to February. I don't see a change. The dynamics of the atmosphere clearly say you're wet through February. What did he just say? Don't say I don't give long-term forecasts. I'll tell you you're having a laugh. And for your New Year's Eve here, too, you actually, it's going to be a saggy firework display for Auckland. But the boom boom plumes will be well on display during the day. Happy crappy New Year. Raspberries. Right, it's very nice to see a nice New Year's along this coast at the night time. You have a nice starry night. However, Mr. Coughing Herber here, volatile. The suction is the bubble up being right here on the side with that is going to make this at any time storms through here. So what are we going to do? We're going to be watching the plumes. The plumes will determine, and the boom, and the blast of the microwaves will do the pinning. Oh, I could read a weather plan like a motherfucker. And you throw pressures in, which is probably the only mathematically accurate thing in here. I use it for the graph mostly. If you listen to me, I'm all over the shop, but I'll tell you what's going on. Happy New Year, Marble Bar. Marble Bar. Marble Bar. They're coming hard for your land. And we're going to stay safe through this. We're going to stay sane. We're going to joke about it, laugh about it. We're going to put our chins up. We're going to get our fists out. We're going to roll up our pants. And we're going to get out of the floodwaters and we're going to fix shit. That's right. We're going to unclog the drains. We're not going to get stuck in them. We're not going to go out in the middle of nothing and get eaten by a crocodile in the Daily River. The Daily Crocodile River, because that place is loaded. And those things are going to be all over places they're not used to. And well, as I look at this hooker here, you know you're about to get fubarioed in the barrio. Right, look at the beam signature. Bzzz, coming through in a big wedge. And they're turning, and they're burning, and they're squaring off the edge. They're nudging the fudge again. Fudging it. Big line of chem bombs going here south of Darwin. Boom, bit of a boom. That's a rotator dropping hail. A lot of hail going to be coming along in this corridor here. Look at the pulses, the constrictions. They got a lot to work with. Vroom, vroom. And when it gets over in the middle of this river, they're going to let it drop. Because that's a convergence, man. Get it flooded here first. Get it full. And now let's give it something to have. And over the 3 days, let's do that over and over and over and over again until you go, oh my God, what happened to my levee? Don't count on that bank behind you saving your ass. Only you can save you. Only you can decide your future. And thank God somebody was smart enough to put houses on stilts out there. Yeah, because they get torrential floods out there. But you're going to mark new spots on your tree. Put an elf on the shelf up there. You're going to, will you call this the flood of 2022 or 2023? Because it's going to be a continuing event. Yeah. It's going to go through the year. It's going to go from one year to another. It's unacceptable. They have the ability to turn on microwaves and stop this storm right now. Technology exists, it's in place, but instead it's being used to fuel the storms. It is. Look at the haze on the low deck here. Microwaves show up real well here. Look at all these microwaves I'm pinning it. All the way from over here. You know they're on. You know that's the guilt. Because I can see it in the clouds. It's written all over the face of Mother Earth. Look at these beams. Just where I said they'd be. Because they have to. They're keeping the flows from making the storm just scatter around where it would normally go. It can't get south of this. It can't go over that direction. So its corridor is here. Its wind inward is here. There's a blast half in and out from here, from a station unknown. Well, maybe one of those traveling mobile devices, or one here that's not set up or admitted to. That's a beam swath. And it's in a straight line. Bzz, 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 bzz. The pulsators. See if we could pick up anything in the mess. undeterminable. Doppler will show up. But you got a lot of vortices going on right now through here. We got some back turning here and here. It's all we're going to be able to pick up. From these back turnings, you're going to see where the storm is turning and where the potential for your hail and your tornadoes are going to be. You will see water spouts today. There will be dramatic pictures during your daytime hours. And as the sun sets, there'll be enough energy on the underside of the cloud to trigger the electric. You'll see. Mark my words. You know, when you look in the center of the big storm somewhere, is that like a face? See that head? This is your storm. This is off your coast here. Just happens to be in an unviewable way. But the only thing I can see is the Pinocchio over here, and I see the face of geoengineering. I see a geostorm being made. And this is off the coast of Darwin here. Yeah, I was having a look around. I told you, it took me a while to do my determinants. It took me about 2 hours this morning. There's a lot of factors in a long-term forecast I have to get my head around. Yeah, there's some Imaginarium for it. But look at all these plumes here over north of Derby. Derby, depends on where you're from in the world. Come on, the world in Derby. Wabbit ears are up out there. Put your lights on, hey there, all you father muckers. Boom, boom, you see it? You see the wagon wheel right there? It ain't the chariot of the God's wheel, that's for sure. These people playing God. That's a boom, boom, plume. Lots of different colors of different type deployments. The Little Dipper. The chem bomb plumer. The boom, boom rumor. I hear there's been spraying of the skies. I can show you it's not a rumor. And if we keep dilly-dallying, the over-acidification of the oceans is an inevitability. I don't think there's enough coral out there to neutralize the acids to an acceptable level, but something will turn up life-wise that will thrive in that environment. Planet does that. What's this, somebody looking up a dress, or he's riding the vroom broom? It's the chem bomb broom person. Vroom! I can't help it. I get my imagination has to stay cool. What in the hell is that? It's banging on my door when I'm like busy. Booming here, booming there. Straight lines of microwaves here that you see hemming up the chem. In very predictable formations of things that we're getting quite used to seeing. Yeah, it's a worldwide crime. But I'm covering Australia here mostly because it's an area I know. Well, John Graff knows geoengineering. He could cover Canada quite well. There's no need. Not John Graff. I mean, Mike Olander does good. John Graff, California. He should be able to do that quite well. There's no need. Mike Morales covers things quite well. People asking me why I don't. Well, who's covering Australia with honesty? No one. So I will do this. New Zealand's got a lot of people covering it with great honesty. So I think they should just get brave to do a video. The Great Barrier Reef, see, what have they done to her? What have they done to my mighty ocean? What have they done to their home? What is it doing to their brains? What have we done to our skies? Look what they've done to our skies, boy. Look what they done when they fried Townsville. Look what they've done to your brains. Masks! Man, nice, I got big fryer on here. I don't think that's snow. That's microwaves. So you're on when this image went over the satellite. Yeah, the Nastito Bandito has been flying over here Fry, fry, Friday, sting to stop fried. Do 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 do. And when you find that there's poison in your skies, will you still not mind? Will you pay some time and stop this shit? Which word per the World Cup or the stuff that's settling out on the beer they're drinking out of it? You know, it's all nice to see him win a cup and celebrate and act rudely and unsportsmanlike with conduct. You know, teaching the next generation act, you know, use the trophy like it's a penis. He probably pegged it later. Here, give me that big boot. The Golden Boot Award goes to the planet. As it looks like we're giving it the boot. As I look at these chem bombs over these indigenous protected areas, poisoning them. Poisoning these people with a chemical attack from the sky. Poisoning them. And I'm not going to be silent while these sacred areas are desecrated by lack of give a shit about anything but oneself. Selfishness of Homo sapiens seems to thinking they can supersede the needs of the big all. Are about to find out that we will not ever supersede the big all. You ever hear of karma? Well, sometimes karma gives sutras, and karma sutras are not as pleasant as a Kama Sutra. You know, let me tell you that. As I look at again, boom, boom, blues, drawing something in the sky that is unnatural. And I see things sometimes that absolutely look unholy. I will not be silent. I've showed you your totals. I don't want to look at them again. Now I'm showing you your skies that you showed me the pictures of. These trails of chem going so far into the distance. We got some dust whipped up here. The clarity's kind of low. There's that ancient landing strip. This would make Jerry the God Guy would enjoy some of my Imaginarium of this area. Yeah, you guys got a spot. I'll show it one day. Yeah, I'll put the desert on the map. Watch this. The dingus with the bombs. See, there's the bella and these are the testicles. There's the eyeballs. Or is it the skelly bob? I don't know. Skull and crossbone skies on a skull and crossbone day. Oh my. That's what the 2030s. I'm very concerned numerology wise. That's skull and crossbone Yale University Day. And they will have their beasts. They do every year. Microwaves and boom boom plumes made that. As we go over to the center of the country, we got an EMF line going here and here, and that's going to hem both lines of chem, and when the chem meet, the storms will boom up. This one's actually dissipating, so that's just going to encounter an energy line. That's just blooming off something into the distance to make sure this area here rains really good in about 36 hours. I think that's how long you got. How long you got? Not even. Yes, you'll be well started today. And that's the chem that's wicking the storms up for you now. Simultaneous pluminazification of your sky by the pluminazis. They do not want you to see things. Spell it Notsee. Okay? And suddenly, you made a new word. Hyphenize it. Hyphenated. Excuse me. Decaffeinated and hyphenated. Hello, Rock Camping. How you doing? Have you enjoying that plume going by? I know it's not very clear yet. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, I'll go back a bit. Cans. They opened up a can of stink bomb over here. Looks like tear gas can. Boom, boom, boom! Going to plumes over Mackay, stretching over here, over across the ocean. A big shockwave coming across here. Look. See the shockwave on the low deck and another boom. So something deployed and then shocked in this way, away from the flow of the wind. Right here. There's the center of its nucleation, and here's the bombs trailing off in 3 different directions of the wind. It's not a Mercedes advert. And this happened at 8:30, which was an hour and a half from mine. An hour and 20 minutes. 21 to be exact. A whole field of bombs has been deployed. Over here. Right before your eyes. Here it comes. Booming and pluming, and a big puff of gas. Just who knows the fuck what. If it was World War One, everybody go, get your mask on! Yeah, it would be. And who says that some of this stuff, when it contacts flames, if it is refrigerant, it will make phosgene gas? If they ever release an R12 or 134 in the atmosphere to cool, and it comes in contact with a flame, it makes nerve gas. We had to know about this during refrigeration. It's how we tell when there's a leak, actually. You'll look at a flame. Through a meter thing, gets it and heats it. You can see if it's purple flame or not. They also do it with a heated wire. Yep. I'm telling you a fact. Another bomb went off low deck right here. There's microwaves and something else. See the curves? Look at this here. Bomb. There's so many bombs here, it would take me all day to mark them all. It's like looking at the Hubble Deep Field picture. Where do you want to start? Whammo. All over on y'all. What a fucking shame. 10 years and plus reporting this shit. $16 I've been aware of geoengineering and fighting it. 16 years. Videography in it since 2014. Maybe a little bit earlier. I mean, full-time videos and everything all the time. For that, I would take a picture of one chemtrail. Oh my God! And now I look at here and go, one chemtrail, thank God, because what I've seen over here that's wicking up and sustaining this storm that's going to be pulsing predictably the moisture down into Australia over the next 10 days is all fueled by chem bombs. If these were not up there, this storm would go away. And well, we should never ever be silent when harm is being done. Ever. Look at all the chem over Hobart. You don't have to see here. Look at this shit over here. It's the best I could do for you, New Zealand. They just don't give me a good image of you. It's just square on the end. You know, it's just steps. I know you got a blunt end island, you know. Let's just send that in on a 90-degree angle from that one. Let's have a square look to this one here. Let's have a square look to this one here. Let's square off this storm here north of Melbourne, who's about to have an afternoon of it too, and I ain't forgot about you guys. Right? Wicked glitch, wicked glitch, wicked glitch. Individual supercells that have been EMF cut, just moving on a line. It can't go too much past that. That's going to tend to hem the chem north of this and send the pulsating right into the Wagga Wagga area, because that's going to nucleate suddenly when it leaves that area. It's going to get pushed. Boom. So you'll see these two lines merge. And when these two lines merge, you got hell to pay, New South Wales. And you could expect that a little later tonight. Come on, get accurate. So I'm going to be watching it, so I'll have a new forecast up. Well, it won't be a forecast. I just like update conditions, because with geoengineering, you got to keep on your toes. You know, one beam 1 minute can have another beam the next, and then suddenly the dynamics of the atmosphere change. So we have, without access to the geoengineering plan, I know all the actions up here right now. Your normalized summertime showers all through here you'd expect to get through your Christmas time. But I'm very worried about this area. So I get to get some rest for about 8 or 9 hours, and it looks like I don't sleep for 3 or 4 days. Or maybe that time is up now. Alright. God bless us all. Everything.